So we are live on YouTube.
Thank you, Christy. Welcome to everyone. This is our regular meeting of council. It's being live streamed tonight electronically, April the 5th. It's slightly after 6 o'clock, so I want to welcome any public that might be watching online, our staff, our council, and we have a lot of delegations, so welcome to all of our delegations. As I said, we'll be going one at a time. Each delegation has a maximum of 10 minutes. So we'll be doing that and then moving into a public meeting and then continuing the rest of the meeting. So welcome to everyone. Before we begin, could we please have a moment of silence? Thank you. Thank you, everyone. I have a motion. It was moved by Councillor Carroll, seconded by Councillor Jennings, that the regular meeting of council agenda dated April the 5th, 2022 be approved as amended. All in favor?
Amended?
Okay. Sorry, it says as amended. Oh, yes. Was it? There was no amended, was there? So it will be just as approved. I'll just stroke that out. Thank you, Karen. All in favor? Thank you. And Christy, I do hear a slight echo. I don't know whether anyone else is hearing that, but I'm hearing a slight echo.
There's something in the background.
Have everyone that we can just have everyone mute that's not speaking, and we'll unmute as we need.
Okay, thank you then, Christy, for that. We'll kind of watch on that. Also, I must remind all of council that if you do have any disclosure of interest, you will be able to do that now or anytime during the meeting. I will disclose that I will be declaring a conflict of interest when it comes to 3A. 3A, thank you. Anyone else? All right, and you can do that anytime during the meeting if you wish. Thank you. Next, I want to also, next we have a motion. It was moved by Councillor Jennings and seconded by Councillor Straight, that the minutes of the regular meeting of council March the 15th, 2022 be approved as circulated. All in favor of that? That's carried. Thank you. Do we have any business arising from those minutes? Seeing none, then we're going to go straight into our first delegation. And we have our first one from the Montague Forget-Me-Not Club donation request. And I believe that we have the delegation is from Kevin Francis. Kevin, are you with us? Don't see Kevin, however.
He was on the screen earlier.
Okay, so.
Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you, Kevin.
Okay, I don't know why. Can you see me now?
Yes, we can see you and hear you. You're very clear. Thank you.
Oh, all right, very good. Well, I would like to start by thanking you for allowing me a few minutes to speak on behalf of the Montague Forget-Me-Not Club. I'm Kevin Francis. I'm the senior club treasurer and have been a card-carrying member for over 5 years. In my speech that I'm going to talk about, I did attach a copy of our 2021 unaudited financial report summary, and the audit will be done the end of April. To continue on, these last 3 years dealing with COVID-19 have been especially hard on all, and our not-for-profit seniors clubs no different. However, unlike some businesses, we have been able to raise some monies through the sale of our baked goods. And we post that periodically on Facebook around calendar holidays like Thanksgiving, Christmas holidays, Easter, and it's shared throughout social media by many. The listing is updated regularly and is included in our regular newsletter to our members. We're very fortunate to still receive charitable donations to allow us to continue to pay bills. Although membership fees are due annually, the club chose to hold off due to the lack of activities for the members to have the benefit of membership. And yet we still receive some payments to assist with the club's operating expenses. As I'm sure everyone is aware, we normally have monthly dinners at the hall with live entertainment for dancing before our buffet style dinners. These have been good fundraisers for us in the past. However, due to COVID, we were shut down completely from this revenue source. The net profits from this fundraiser goes towards monthly expenses, such as propane for heating, our hydro, commercial insurance, and of course, our municipal tax bill. We truly appreciate the many supporters who stayed in regular contact, inquiring when our dinners are going to, with the afternoon entertainment, will be starting again. Due to the frequent health regulation changes, government and our local health unit, we've been unable to have dinners, and we're very appreciative of those who continue to purchase our baked goods to support us. Our hall rentals dropped off the map with our pandemic, and we haven't had our weekly.
Oh, you just went muted there, Kevin. Kevin? No, Kevin? Yes, hello, Kevin? No. Sorry, Kevin?
Yeah, it's not coming through. No.
Nothing's coming through here. Can someone send something to Kevin, let him know?
I think
Yeah,
he
I think he
knows.
can hear us.
He can hear us. Can you hear us, Kevin?
We can't
you
hear
hear me
you
now?
though.
Yeah.
Yes, we can hear you
Oh.
now.
All right. I don't know what's up with that. So
So
what
if you can just
part
sort of
did you
back
get
up
to?
maybe about a minute or two there.
Just the ending.
About the dinners?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, after with the health regulation changes, we haven't been able to have any, and we're very appreciative of the support of the people for purchasing our baked goods. Our hall rentals have dropped off the map with the pandemic, and we haven't had our weekly card games or other social fundraisers such as birthday parties. Hopefully with these upcoming changes, we'll be able to get some bookings for the coming year. We held our first four-hand euchre on Friday, April 1st at 7 p.m. And we are looking forward to offering additional card nights on a regular basis again. Our fee will remain at $5 per person and following the surrounding area club charges for an evening of cards. With the Ontario opening up the end of April, we'll entertain the idea of having a dinner as soon as possible to get our financial situation on the upswing. Since the submission in November 2021, of our grant request to the township, we were successful in receiving the Ontario Small Business Grant for $10,000, which covered our expensive commercial insurance and helped pay towards required mandatory Leeds, Grenville, and Glenark Health Unit enhanced COVID cleaning, mask required, the numbers permitted in the hall, sign-in book requirements, social distancing signage, vaccinations required signage, and then all the different changes to these protocols, including the masking requirements. The township grant will assist us with their increased fees, such as the new $15 hourly wage and gas price increases, which are associated with their general operating expenses that impacted us effective the 1st of January of 2022. These general operating expenses include our additional COVID cleaning protocols required to be completed by our custodial contracts, lawn maintenance, snow removal contracts, hydro delivery fees, propane increases, banking fees, postage, municipal taxes, etc. And in closing, I'd like to thank Council for your consideration and support of your local Montague Seniors Forget Me Not Club Incorporated. who have been in existence in Montague Township since 1975. And that's my report.
Thank you, Kevin, and thank you for sending it ahead also, which I'm sure that we all read that. So thank you for that.
Okay.
Because we've got 5 delegations tonight, we've got quite a bit on our agenda. So I'm just going to open it up for any very, very quick, precise questions that council may have. If not, then we'll go on to the next one. So does anyone have any questions they wanted to ask Kevin? Yes, Claus.
Thank you, Reeve, and Kevin, thanks very much for the report. I read it thoroughly. Hello?
Yep.
Sorry. Okay. Just exactly, just first off a question. Can you, on your insurance, ask the insurance company to hold off on sending you a bill without penalties? Would they wait for a little while for their payment?
I would have to talk to the insurance about that. I know that the $10,000 grant that we got between the insurance, we don't have a penalty with that. And in our past, we just changed companies, and in our past, we never got any relief. That's one of the reasons why we were actually almost doubled with our insurance. But that's why I went out and I did a little bit of searching for a better price. And I found one, and it helped out the club immensely. But even so, we're at almost $4,600 a year for insurance because of being a commercial doing our takeout and having people come in for our dinners and stuff. So
okay. Your request then for the township, from the township, would be the taxes again, or are you like, is it more than that?
well, it's a little more than that, but between the property taxes, they're a little easier to get along with. It's the utilities that we have to pay and our insurance. Between those two, we are almost at $10,000, and that's where that money went last year. If we hadn't got that $10,000 last year, the seniors would have been in the hole $3,904.53. And so, we're kind of trying to keep above board, and with our fundraising, there's a cost associated with having your dinners where you have to go and buy your supplies and your baking and everything. And last year, our net proceeds were just over $2,900. So that just almost keeps us to break even type of thing. Yep.
Okay, thank you, Kevin.
Okay, anything else? All right, well then, thank you, Kevin. We also, before you go, then we do have a motion here. And it was moved by Councillor Straight and seconded by Deputy Vandermeer that council receive the delegation from Montague Forget-Me-Not Club for information. All in favor? And that's carried. Thank you then, Kevin. You're welcome
Thank
to
you.
stay
Okay,
with
and
us.
I'm just going to drop off.
Yeah.
I'm working nights, so I'll just drop off, and thank you very much for your time.
You're welcome. Thank you, Kevin. Good night. Okay, we're going on to the next one. Then our next delegation is Big Brothers Big Sisters. And we have Sandra Burali, who I believe is with us and is going to be speaking. So with Sandra, I'll give the screen over to you. Welcome.
Hello, hi, thank you for having me again this year. Sorry, I have a big window up in my, there it is, okay. Thank you again for having us this year, Council. We are again, of course, asking Montague Township to support our ongoing programs with Big Brothers Big Sisters of Lanark County. Of course, no different to Kevin, 2020 right through 2022 have been interesting and challenging years for us, but despite that and some good planning on the part of people ahead of me, we're doing it. We're continuing to deliver on our programs this year, having doubled our traditional one-on-one programs and also having co-created a resiliency training program for kids in schools. It was a program that we saw a need for and that we co-developed with a sister agency in Cornwall so that we could get in virtually into the schools and work with kids who were really struggling with some of those pieces. And so In addition to that, we this year in 2021 alone made 468 porch drops of things like food, gift certificates, hygiene supplies, those kinds of things. So we needed to add some things to the programming that you have typically heard about us delivering, so that we could really meet the needs where they were, because they kept changing on us. And as they kept changing, so did we, in terms of how we fundraised, as well as how we delivered and what we delivered. In 2021, we also made 1,200 calls to our kids just to say, hey, how are you doing? And that's something that we're continuing on, and we will continue on until we see a change in where the trajectory is headed right now in terms of mental health with youth and kids. We're not going to stop until we start to see a change in that, and perhaps never. But right now we're keeping pace with about 80 to 100 calls a month just to check in on them all. So that's been something that we're proud of and continuing to do. And then to speak a little bit to the financial part of where we are, we, of course, you would have seen with the budget that I forwarded that we were projecting a $76,000 deficit budget this year. However, our Bowl for Kids was a tremendous success. So that really offset that and has restored our confidence that we are going to make some headway with events this year. We're seeing a spike again. So, forever planning what we could do next. Our next events are golf and purse event and things like that. And so we're constantly evolving and changing to see how we can make sure that we make those budget lines. You will also have noted in that budget that a good portion of our projected revenues are not yet confirmed. And that's to about the tune of $100,000. And so that's where our ask for the municipalities, as well as whatever COVID support funding may be available, and we will stay on top of that and continue to be on that, and hopefully get through the year without that deficit. I'm confident, but again, always looking for that continued support of council to make sure we get there and keep doing what we're doing. This is our 50th year. Proud to be doing it. We've been here since 1973, and I don't think we're going anywhere. So thank you for listening to me tonight, and your support is appreciated.
Thank you, Sandra. Any questions from council? Okay, seeing none, just a very, very quick, not really related to this request, Sandra, but just a quick question. Your call center where you're calling the kids, is that 24/7, or is it just during the day, or when does that happen?
So it isn't a two-way call center, unfortunately. We're not set up for that yet, although that would be an interesting project. Right now, we're sort of outbound. So our caseworkers and program facilitators actually call the kids that are involved in our programming. So they do that from our office at 18 William Street in Smiths Falls. So it's a daytime piece, and it's ongoing. Mind you, when we were virtual, our staff were calling them from home. So that's how we're doing that right now.
Yeah, thank you. I knew that there's other calling methods for kids, but I just wasn't sure whether you had a two-way one or not. So thank you. So seeing no further questions, Sandra, thank you very much for this request, and we'll continue after our meeting and when we're doing our budget and so on to talk about it. So thank you for that. And we're going to move on to the next delegation. But first, I do have a motion here, which was moved by Deputy Vandermeer and seconded by Councillor Carroll, that council receive the delegation from Big Brothers Big Sisters for information. All in favor? That is carried. Thanks again, Sandra. So good night, and we'll talk to you soon.
Thanks. Good night.
Good night. Moving on to our third delegation. And this one is from the Adult Learning and Training Center. We have Pauline Levesque with us. And I believe, Pauline, you may have a slideshow for us.
Yes, I do.
So welcome, Pauline, and I will give this part of the meeting over to you. Welcome. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Chair, and thank you, Council. The Adult Learning and Training Center is a small community-based program that helps adults with literacy and basic skills towards goals of independence, employment, further education. Our program, Getting Ahead, is a partnering program, which is solely funded currently by the United Way, and our funding is not guaranteed as they run every 6 months instead of a year or 2 years or 3 years. So over the last 2 years, due to the COVID pandemic, ALTC has had to pivot how the Getting Ahead program was to be facilitated. In 2020, sessions had facilitated remotely, In 2021, sessions were offered both in person and remote. During the 2021 period, we forged strong community support, allowing us to provide sessions outside of Smiths Falls for the first time. Initially, we had 16 individuals sign up to participate. Due to COVID regulations, in-person capacity had limitations. Some could not attend due to vaccine requirements. 2 of these individuals do not possess the skills to attend remotely. Therefore, 11 individuals did continue and complete the program both in person and remotely. And now I'll pass off the rest of our delegation to Anne Armstrong.
Okay, thank you. So yes, as Pauline just said, we really had to pivot during the, I hope you can all hear me. We really had to pivot during the 2021 session because of COVID, but it did mean that we started looking outside Smiths Falls, which is why we're now talking to you in Montague, because we'd like to expand. We had 73 participants in the last 5 years. If you look at the PowerPoint that we did present to you earlier on, you'll see in the first few slides exactly what we're talking to the individuals about. The living wage in our region, how that looks when they're looking for somewhere to live. The fact that the 30% of your income just does not work in our area for any sort of 1 bedroom, 2 bedroom, it just doesn't work. But they get that information. They can look at their future and they can try and see a way out, and we support them on their journey. If you go further within the presentation that we sent, there's a piece about how everyone was hard hit in Canada, obviously during the COVID, but how there were some people that actually did pretty well out of COVID, and that was the top 10%. The graduates or the people that participate in our program are a very diverse group of people. They're hardworking, who might have been raised in poverty, or someone in a short-term situation that was thrust onto them through situational poverty. From what we see daily, no one wants to live in poverty, and we are there to offer resources and support for all in need in our community. From the 2 programs that ran last year, our Perth group has gone on to a weekly meeting of members to discuss the next steps. One individual has become highly active in the housing issues and often advocates for her fellow tenants. Another individual will join us this year as a co-facilitator, and all participants are now involved in differing levels within their community. If I can have you look at slide 5, it is for me. I'm not sure how that looks for you. Sorry, slide 6. Getting Ahead started in the United States. It's now in Canada. We've had to find a lot of Canadian content because the books that we receive are all US based. It stems from Bridges Out of Poverty, and it looks at poverty as defined by a lack of resources. So during the program, the individuals will look at the resources that we have in the area and what resources we're lacking.
Excuse me just for 1 sec, please. I just want to mention that we're not actually seeing your slide presentation.
Okay, I thought it was actually sent to you.
Yeah, yes, but I'm just saying it's not on the screen right now.
Okay, all right. Should be able to share it, I guess.
I'm just mentioning that in case the public wants to see it all.
Yeah.
Sorry for interrupting.
No, that's okay. So I should be able to share the screen. And she won't let me share the screen. Oh yes, there we go. Share screen. Okay, can you see it now?
Yes, we can.
Okay,
And we're at
So,
the,
yeah,
well, getting
so
ahead.
yes. So the program is how people, they can stabilize their lives, they can build financial, educational and social resources. We as facilitators are there just for that, facilitating. The individuals will do their own work, and there's no expectations of outcome. Their change can be small, it can be large. They decide what their future is going to look like. We do not make any sort of, we don't say to them, oh no, that's not good enough, it needs to be this. They're basically left to make their own decisions. But it's the talking within the small group. We call it a kitchen table, because everyone just sits around together and they learn from each other. It was quite amazing that we had an individual who was in situational poverty, so not generational poverty. And there were so many programs that he knew nothing about and learnt from all the people that were in situational poverty. Now, again, as Pauline mentioned, we did last year get some wonderful community partnerships. We were able to offer free transportation last year. I'm hoping that that's going to happen again this year. We used the table in Perth, and so they supplied meals. And we also had one in Smith Falls last year, and the meals were supplied by the Salvation Army. So yes, the program itself is talks about hidden rules. So it looks at different aspects from different members of society. So whether you're lower poverty, middle class, upper class, and the use of language, because that's a big one. Sometimes people living in poverty do not like to go and talk to organizations because the language barrier, if you will, there's a different way of talking if you're living in poverty, and sometimes they feel that they're not understood or that they're just not heard. So the program has been running for 5 years. This year we are already committed to one in Perth starting in May, and we actually have this year we have the Zion Memorial Church in Carlton Place. They are going to host for us, so we will have one in CP and one in Perth. We will definitely have one in Smith Falls in the fall. And the reason we're coming to you today is because what we would like to do is extend out to Montague, at least extend to the point of getting people in the Montague Township involved. Now, if they need to come in to Smith Falls, obviously there will be transportation. And in fact, this year we've decided to not make people stay geographically. If the Tuesday morning in Zion Memorial Church fits you and you live in Smith Falls, we will get you to Carlton Place at the Zion Memorial Church Tuesday mornings for you to take the program so that you're not stuck geographically. The rest of it's basically telling you, so we limit our out-of-pocket expenses to the best of our ability. So Adult Learning Training Centre, as Pauline said, this is part of their programming, so they help an awful lot. Each participant receives a $25 gift card because it's seen for the program is seen as that they shouldn't have to have any additional hardships by attending. So the $25 gift card is for them to attend because they're doing the work. I get paid to go to work, so they get paid to go to work. The meals, as we said, are provided and all materials are provided, and they have ongoing support after they've graduated. So as we're running out of time, I will just flip to the end there. And so this is our basic cost for 12 investigators, one facilitator to attend a 13-week program, which comes to 40 hours. Basically, it's a 40-hour program. That's how long they have to commit to, and they do have to commit to those 40 hours. So roughly for every one session that we hold, it's around $8,500. And that's with the transportation being provided. I'm pretty sure we are going to get transportation provided this year. and the food as well. So the food that's not covered, we like at the end to have a graduation. These people have worked hard, and so we like to have a little graduation party for them at the end, and that's really our only food costs. So yes, thank you, Montague Township, for hearing our delegation, and we really hope that we can include you on our list of community partners and funders, and that we'll be able to get some individuals coming in from your township to attend this particular program. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you then, ladies, very much for this delegation. It's very interesting. When we get back to the full screen, then I'll ask if there's any questions.
Okay.
Thanks. Okay, thank you then. So any questions from council? I've got 2 or 3 very, very quick ones, sort of technical. And I could see that the funders at the end, that you had the LTA as one of the funders, but I'm also wondering, do you actually, because of the possibility of transportation barriers, do you use the LTA, the Lanark Transportation Association? Do you use them?
Yes, we do.
Sorry, Pauline, go ahead.
Yes, we do use them. They're giving us an in-kind donation, which we really appreciate. And as everybody knows, in the areas that we live in out here, that there is no transportation for people that don't have their own vehicles. So,
Yeah, and that's exactly why that service is offered there through the LTA. So
correct. And through our core programming. Sorry, I'll be quiet.
Yeah. No, I just have another quick question.
Sure.
You mentioned also that you do get funding from the United Way. Do you get that through Lanark County, or is it coming from the overarching United Way?
It's through Lanark County United Way.
Yeah. Okay.
It's under the big umbrella, but our main source is from their office in Carleton Place.
Yeah. Okay. And the other last question quickly, I just wanted to ask, do you sit at the situation table, or have you before?
I'll let Anne answer that one.
I'm sorry, have we sat at the situation table?
Yes.
I'm not sure what you mean by that. Perhaps
well, if you just go to the Lanark County website and look for, you don't have to do it now, but look for the situation table and you can read about it. And if interested, if you could possibly call them. I'm not sure that there's a connection there or not, but I'm just offering that there's a possibility.
Yeah,
so it's called the situation table. So
yeah, okay, no, I'll do that, because really so far all the connections we've made have literally been just calling people and saying, this is what we're doing, are you interested? I mean, the table in Perth was on board immediately, which was really good, because it didn't mean that we didn't have to stick with Smith Falls. We could go out to Perth, and as Pauline just said, Lanark Transportation didn't hesitate when I asked them if they would do, and they actually finish at 6 technically, but they were picking people up in Perth at 9 o'clock at night for us.
Okay, thanks very much then, ladies. And I do have a motion here that was moved by Councillor Carroll and seconded by Councillor Jennings, that council received the delegation from Adult Learning and Training Centre for information. All in favor? Thank you. Right, thank you then, ladies, and good night for now. And you're welcome to stay on if you wish, but we'll talk to you soon. So thanks very much.
Okay, thank you.
Yep. So moving on to our 4th delegation, and that's from the Family and Children's Services of Lanark, Leeds, and Grenville. Fiona Goodman is with us, and I believe also you may have a slideshow. Fiona. So if you do, maybe Christy can help you, or you can share that with us. So welcome, Fiona, and I'll pass the screen over to you.
Sounds good. Thank you so much for having me. Okay, I will try to share this. Let's see if it works. And
Yeah, that's perfect.
can you see, do you see the slideshow?
Yep, it's perfect.
Perfect. So I'm from Family and Children's Services of Lanark, Leeds, and Grenville. So we're a child protection agency. We're one of 50 delegated agencies in the province of Ontario. So our primary role is in child protection. We are funded through the Ministry of Ontario. My role within the agency is the Volunteer and Community Initiatives Coordinator. So for all the programs, which includes our snowsuit campaign, which we're here to chat about tonight, we don't receive any funding for these programs. So these are additional community programs that we run throughout the counties, and they're funded purely by donations. So for the snowsuit campaign, we've been providing snowsuits to kids in Lanark County for like 32 plus years. So prior to our agency being Family and Children's Services of Lanark, Leeds, and Grenville, we were Lanark CAS, and there was an amalgamation about 11 years ago. So we've continued the program on, and we run it now in both jurisdictions. We're really, our focus with our program, in line with sort of our agency mission and vision, is really around providing equitable services to kids in our communities and across our jurisdiction. So, you know, we have our legally mandated child protection services that we provide as an agency, but with our community programs, we're really trying to reach out and support families in ways that they need it. And one of the things that we've found consistently over the years is snowsuits for kids in the wintertime, making sure that any kid that needs a snowsuit has access to one, a quality snowsuit that will help them stay engaged in all their activities throughout the winter, everything like that. So this year, this past year in 2021, actually, looking back from 2016, we gave out over 1,000 snowsuits across the three, like Lanark, Leeds, and Grenville. In Smith Falls and Lanark County, we were just over 500, and that we do a distribution in Carleton Place, in Smith Falls, and in Perth. And our frontline workers also distribute snowsuits. So we've moved to a system where we're really only distributing, or we want to have available a new snowsuit for any child that needs one. In the past, we've done donation boxes out throughout the counties, asking for used snowsuit donations. We're finding that the quality of the snowsuits that are being donated is decreasing, and we just don't have the capacity to manage and sort through what we can manage. So we're still looking at doing some kind of donation, but we're wanting to make sure that that quality of snowsuit is the same for every child. So if the child's showing up, we're not giving a brand new one to one kid and then one with torn snow pants to another child. So we're really looking to do that. And we were able to do that last year, which was great. So our budget every year, we spend about $20,000 purchasing snowsuits every year. We do that usually through wholesale price clearance sales. We have volunteers out buying end of season clearances year round. So we're really able to get great prices on new snowsuits to give out. We have noticed that there is a huge need for winter boots, which is not something we're able to provide within the program right now, which we would like to be able to provide. And we're also concerned with accessibility to the program. We know there are more kids out there that need snowsuits that can't make it to these distribution days. We would love to be in a position where we can start reaching out to the local schools and figuring out what their needs are, and being able to provide snowsuits as needed, again, to make sure that every kid has a warm snowsuit for the winter. We also provide snowsuits to elementary all the way up through youth and teenagers. We have lots of parents that come, only looking for snowsuits for their kids, but we'd like to be able to give those parents a jacket as well, so they're not walking around in a hoodie all winter long. So these are what we do. The actual costs of this program, it's primarily just purchasing snowsuits. We have some facility costs. We do rent a small storage area, and then we do sometimes need to cover the cost of like a rental spot if we're doing a big distribution. Last year we were able to use our Smith Falls office, and we don't have any staffing costs. That the agency covers those costs, and then volunteers. This is volunteer run. At this time, we don't have any major fundraising campaigns. The majority of our funds come from the community. These are just community donations that come in. Last year, we had one large community donation from the Lanark 100 Women Who Care, which was incredibly helpful to keep our program running. And then down in the Leeds, Grenville, we partner with the Kinsmen on that side, but we don't have a consistent partner up in Lanark. So every year we're sort of going year by year in terms of funding this program. And it is a very needed program for our kids in our communities. And that is all for me.
Thank you, Fiona.
You're welcome.
Thank you, Fiona. So I'll open it up if there's any questions. Okay, seeing none then, Fiona, thank you for coming and giving us this delegation. We do have a motion. It was moved by Councillor Jennings and seconded by Councillor Straight that council receive the delegation from Family and Children's Services of Lanark, Leeds and Grenville for information. All in favor? Okay, thank you for that. So thank you then, Fiona, and good night for now.
Thank
Talk
you
to you
so much.
soon. Thank you. So moving on to our last delegation of the night, and that's going to be from the Real Deal in Smith Falls. And we have Barb Hicks. So welcome, Barb. I know this isn't the first time we've seen you here, so welcome back. And thank you for continuing to do all the great work for all the communities. So Barb, welcome, and I'll pass this over to you. And I think you also have a slideshow, do you?
Yes, I do. So let's
Okay,
hope that
so
this
then you
goes.
can share it and I'll pass it on to you. Thank you. Yep, I can see it clear.
Okay, there we go. Okay, so yes. Yeah, I think the last time we presented to you was 2019. I could be wrong about that. So I'm Barb Hicks. I'm on the board of Real, and I've been there for many, many years. So for those of you who don't know, Real is an environmental nonprofit. We've been around for about 33 years now. We're based in Smith Falls, but we serve the surrounding areas. And we basically do any kind of environmental project to do with water, waste, energy, or climate change. And Montague has been supporting us for many years with an annual contribution. We also have support from the town of Smith Falls and Rideau Lakes Township. And we're looking for that support so we can continue the Real Deal store and our other environmental programming. And we're suggesting $500 as we have done in previous years. So, of course, the Real Deal store is our big project that is most visible to the public. So we're in our 14th year, but we've been at this 85 William Street location since 2008. And so our goals are to reduce waste, provide work experiences, and raise funds for Real's other environmental projects. So in the process of accepting used materials, household goods, and renovation stuff, we've diverted 34 tons from landfills in this past year. So that was down from previous years for obvious reasons. And we operate with some paid staff, some work placements, some volunteers. And of course, the use of that building on William Street is donated by the town of Smith Falls, but we pay all the expenses that go along with it. So we didn't do too bad during COVID. Of course, a lot of our plans had to change. Over 2021, we were closed for 12 weeks. So of course, there's no income from the store, no e-waste income. But we found that when we opened up again, you know, people came back really quickly. They didn't have to learn that we're open again and get used to us again. That was great. And we also managed to pay our staff because of CEWS through the closures. And, you know, various changes, you know, volunteers working on non-store days. We had another employee who was doing more cleaning. We're doing employee screening. That picture is, we had a little project going on. You'll remember at the beginning of the pandemic, it was hard to find masks. So we had some people making reusable fabric masks that we gave out at the library or at the store. So when we accept goods or sell goods at the store, we record the weight and record it by municipality. We record it by any municipality within Lanark, Leeds, and Grenville, and everyone else is kind of other. And so we can tell you how many kilograms were donated by Montague residents and how much was purchased. So Montague is the third largest group of donors. You can see how much they donated over the year. And of course, they bought lots and lots of stuff. Other services we have at the store, of course, we have the end-of-life electronics depot, which is now run by the EPRA. It used to be OES. And so in the past year, that was 38 tons. Other years, it's been more like 43 tons. So that bin you see Dawn standing in front of gets filled every 1 or 2 weeks, and we get paid by the weight. So most years we make $7,000 or $8,000 by collecting that, but last year it was just $6,000, but that's okay. And of course, there are things that people cannot put in their municipal waste reduction programs. So we accept a few other materials at the store. We take batteries, print and toner cartridges, we'll take wire and scrap metal, we'll take mercury thermostats, plastic milk bags, used writing instruments, and the most recent addition is pill bottles, crayons, and glue sticks. So we have bins at the front of the store that people can deposit those items, helps them reduce waste. And so over the coming year, we're hoping to emphasize more the renovation materials at the Real Deal store, because that's something that not everybody does in this area. If we can come up with some more waste reduction opportunities for people, we would do that. Just increasing our profile. We're getting more and more people from outside Lanark, Leeds, and Grenville, which is great. We'll be working on expanding our tool library that we just started, and we hope to buy some people call it a sea can, which is short for sea canister, but like a giant dumpster that we can store things in, because it needs to be more weatherproof, more vandal proof. We've had numerous break-ins, and anyways, we think that'll be a better way to go. We won't have to keep replacing it year after year. So here are some of the major expenses for the Real Deal. Of course, wages are the big one. When we started the store, we really thought it would be something if we could actually provide employment in this area. So we do. We basically have about four and a half full-time jobs, I guess I'd say. Utilities, of course, big expense. You know, the usual things, garbage, snow, insurance. We split that with Real. So our whole insurance bill is something like $3,400. And of course, utilities are going up, propane in particular. But we offer all kinds of other environmental programs. We always have a hard time trying to tell people Real Deal is a project of Real. We do lots of other things besides. So you may have heard about home energy audits. You've heard of the Greener Homes program, that federal program that gives people up to $5,000 in incentives for making energy efficient improvements to their home. So Real has an auditor available for people. They call us up. He can go do the pre-audit that is necessary. The people make the renovations, then they do a post-audit and may be eligible for those grants. We do it because, of course, improving your home energy efficiency is reducing your greenhouse gas emissions. So we've just started a new auditor, John Appleby, who lives in Merrickville, because Alan Leonard is off for health reasons. We let people borrow kilowatt meters, radon meters, and air quality meters. We've been doing the kilowatt meters for a long time now. They're available through basically all the local libraries. Radon, of course, is a a super important issue. People can't tell if they have radon accumulation in their homes unless they actually measure it. So people can borrow a meter from us. You may have heard of the Deep Pave Paradise project that we did this past summer. It was the first time for real, but of course, there's about 60 communities across Canada who have done this. They basically take an area of pavement and manually remove it and then replace it with native plants of some description. So the town of Smiths Falls was ready to take up that piece of Daniel Street that's between Town Square and the library. And so we got volunteers out to do that. And a couple of weeks later, we went and put 2 gardens there. We still have some native trees to go in, but they're making other changes to the town square, including a band pavilion and paths and so on. So the trees haven't been planted yet, but they will go in this year. Another new project for us is Journey to Sustainability that Peter Au, you probably all know Peter Au. He leads the group plans community presentations. Of course, before COVID, some of those presentations were actually in person. Lately, they've been by Zoom, and on basically on any topic we can come up with that would be useful for people for greening their own lifestyles. We've done wetland and river appreciation. We've done food waste. I did a little talk on the Real Deal store recently, our Monarch Garden, regenerative farming, you know, whatever comes up. I think the next one we're doing is on the town of Smiths Falls tree canopies policy. In October, we started a tool library in the back corner of our Real Deal store. We did get a grant for the feasibility study and the business plan. So what that is we have a collection of about 100 tools, and people can buy a membership and then borrow those tools whenever they want to. So this is it helps various populations, you know, people who can't afford the tools, people who don't have the space for them. It helps people who are downsizing and want their tools to go to a good home instead of having to get rid of them or sell them. And so we're hoping to expand that, of course. The sky's the limits on that one. I mean, in some tool libraries, they rent garden tools and super large kitchen equipment and things. We don't really have the space for that, but of course, we keep asking people what they would like to have available. So we'll give that a whirl. And here's a few of the other things that Real is involved in. Of course, we have a community garden on our site there. We have 12 plots that we rent for $25 a year. We do Pitch in Smiths Falls, which is the annual litter cleanup. Of course, that's happening April 16th to 30th this year. Evergreen Avenue down at Victoria Park. There are dedication granite stones to veterans and other community builders along there, and there's also native plants along there. So that is our connection there. We have a monarch garden that we planted for our 30th anniversary. It went really well. So you see the first lobe there. The next year we built another one. We were going to do another one last year, but we kind of got distracted by the Deep Pave project and the gardens there. So we hope to be doing that this summer. So public education and awareness is a big thing of what we do. We do 5 newsletters a year. We have a very detailed website, some Facebook pages. We do workshops, and of course the local media are all very good to us when we want to publicize any event we have going on. And out in the community, usually we, you know, try to get out to all the local sort of festivals and events to talk about, you know, Real in general or any specific Real programs that Real has going on at that moment. Of course, that hasn't been happening in the past couple of years. We try to help other local groups with material goods. For example, we get oodles and oodles of suitcases and we pass them on to not just tourists, and they pack them with medical supplies, and tourists take them down to, you know, third world countries when they're going on holiday. You know, we give things to the Heritage House. We give any medical supply and medical equipment we get lent to the Civitan Club. You know, we give purses to Big Brothers, Big Sisters, things like that. And, you know, any kind of connection with the community that comes up. For example, just recently, we donated a wicker wheelchair to the Kingston Health Sciences Museum. And so hopefully over the reel in the next year, we have a compost demonstration site. We hope to make that a little more functional. We have a spring fundraiser going on where we sell rain barrels. We're going to be selling composters this time as well. Planting the other monarch garden, those 4 trees that we need to finish our DPay project. We're hoping to plant 30 trees in Smiths Falls this year as well. We hope that comes to pass. And another group is working on a biochar project. So
Sorry, excuse me there for a sec,
Yep.
Barb. We're just over our 10 minutes. So if you could just sort of wrap it up there.
Oh,
as soon
okay,
as
I'm
possible.
sorry. I can talk too
No,
much.
that's
Okay.
fine.
So those are just some of where we get our money from. So we do try to diversify, even though we're getting lots of money from Real Deal sales. We're trying to do other things. We get money from memberships and donations, the home energy audits, the garden fees. Like, as I said, we're getting money from a couple of other municipalities. We usually manage to take advantage of HRSDC and get money for summer students in the summer. On track, we usually have an on track person on site and we're getting subsidized for them. We usually do an Andrus customer ask. We haven't the past couple of years because of COVID, but we hope we do. Our big local foods dinner we do in the fall, we haven't been able to do the past 2 years, but we did manage to get sponsorships and do an online auction, which sort of made up for that, and the rain barrel sale that I just mentioned. So we're hoping to continue to build our community partnerships. We want to be able to reach all residents in the area with good environmental practices, work to divert more waste through the Real Deal store. And if you ever have any, would you like some advice on some environmental issues, we're available for that. And we just look forward to your continued support. Sorry for going over.
No, thank you there, Barb. So thanks. So I'll ask the council if we have any questions. Okay, seeing none, then Barb, thank you very much for your delegation. And it's extremely interesting as usual, and certainly diversified for sure in what you do. So thank you. I do have a motion here. It was moved by Councillor Straight and seconded by Deputy Reeve Vandermeer, that council receive the delegation from Real Deal for information. All in favor? Okay, that is carried. Thank you, Barb, and good night for now, and we'll talk to you soon.
Okay, good night.
Good night. And now our delegations are all finished, and we're going to be going into the next part of our meeting is 3A, and I'm going to be, I've declared a conflict on this, so I'll be going out of the meeting, and our Deputy Reeve, Claus Vandermeer, is going to be taking over. So thank you, Claus, for this.
You're welcome, Reeve. And we'll call you when we're done.
Thank you.
Okay. He's gone, Christy? We're good?
Yes, we're good.
Okay. So I will read this off, same as we always do. It's a zone amendment public hearing process. Purpose of the public meeting. The public meeting is to consider a proposed zoning bylaw amendment under the section 34 of the Planning Act and is now open. I, Deputy Reeve Claus Vandermeer, will be charging of this meeting. The application being considered this time is for a property at 805 Rosedale Road, and the proposal to amend the zoning to accommodate an agricultural use within the village of Rosedale. This meeting is an opportunity to provide any feedback on this proposal, and we encourage you to do so as the Planning Act regulations suggest that the public's ability to voice objections later in the process may be limited if they do not either sign in or speak at the public meeting. I will now pass the meeting over to our planner, Forbes Simon. Are we there, Forbes?
I am.
There you are. Thank you very much. Who will summarize the application, followed by a presentation of the proposal by the applicant's consultant. Following that, we will open the floor for comments from those who are in attendance and this discussion, and then a discussion by council. So Forbes, you will go first and present the planning report.
Thank you very much, Chair. The purpose of the meeting tonight is to give the public an opportunity to provide comment and input into the proposed zoning amendment prior to council making a decision on the application. Staff will not be making a recommendation this evening. Rather, we're going to be listening and gathering information to be able to provide a report and a recommendation at a future date. The application before you, as you've indicated, Chair, is to allow for the conversion of an existing barn at 805 Rosedale Road. The upper floor of the barn is going to be converted into a dwelling. The lower floor will be partially used as utility and mudroom area. And the remainder of the lower level, approximately 880 square feet, will be used for the production and processing and making of cheese. Currently, the property is in the rural zone and permits agriculture, which includes home-based cheese-making facilities. However, it was determined through pre-consultation that in the best interest of the business and its long-term viability to be secured through a zoning amendment to establish agricultural product processing facility as a permitted use. This would be to allow the cheese making to flourish on the property. Currently, the applicant is operating a cheese-making business within the municipality and is producing around 1,300 kilograms of cheese annually. The proponent has submitted a detailed planning justification report. It's provided a planning rationale that indicates that the proposed use are compatible with the surrounding land uses. They've also carried out and conducted hydrogeologic and terrain analysis to confirm that the existing water supply and wastewater services are suitable for the development. There will be a need for a new septic system to support the development. The property in question is about 33 hectares in size, but only 0.3 hectares of the property are subject to the zoning amendment. The balance of the property will remain in its current zone. We did circulate the proposal, the public meeting notice to all properties within 120 meters of the site. We've also sent a request to agencies to provide comments, and we've provided a notice on the property itself. In terms of evaluating the proposal, when we get changes like this, what we do is we look for feedback from neighbors, we look for feedback from the agencies, and we do an assessment to determine whether the proposal represents good land use planning and is in the long-term interest of the municipality. Next steps going forward, Chair, is that following the public meeting, we'll review all the written comments and the oral comments provided and bring a report to council at the next available meeting. And then council will be in a position at that time to make a decision on the application. Your choices would be to approve the application as submitted, approve the application with modifications, or refuse the application. Once the application decision has been made, anybody that is not happy with the decision has an opportunity to appeal the decision to the Ontario Lands Tribunal, provided they make comment within 20 days of the notice. Chair, that's all I have at this point in time. I'm happy to answer any questions either now or at a future point in the meeting.
Okay, we'll allow for opportunity then. So now we'll hear from the people proposing, presented by Kevin Motter of JP2G Consultant, and Kyle White, the applicant. So who wants to speak first, Kevin or Kyle? Over there, Kevin?
Yeah, I think Kyle would probably like to go through his PowerPoint presentation, if he could.
Okay, Kyle, go ahead.
I'm available for technical questions.
Thank you, Kevin.
Perfect. Well, hello, everybody. I'm just going to try and share this. Can you guys see that?
Yeah, that's good, Kyle.
Great. So I'll try and keep this fairly brief. So Milkhouse Farm Dairy is a husband and wife team. We started our business in 2010. We milk sheep and process the sheep's milk into cheese. In 2005, we bought the subject property and moved the milking operation there, which is around the corner from our current operation. We built a new livestock barn, and in accordance with the minimum distance separation rules that were in place for the new barn, we had to treat it as a barn replacement. So the barn you're looking at right now is no longer considered a barn. We can't keep livestock in it, nor do we want to. So that's led us to this project, which, as Forbes mentioned, is to convert the barn. It's a 100-year-old structure into our residence upstairs, and then a small cheese-making plant downstairs. We're looking at building a highly efficient building with a large investment in insulation, air sealing, and energy efficiency. And the third part of it was to restore a fairly prominent heritage structure in the community. It's right at the road and quite visible to anybody in the hamlet or driving down Rosedale Road. So this is just a map kind of showing you the area that we're currently farming. It includes land we own and land that we use from a family member. Our frontage that we're talking about is right up there at the top, 805 Rosedale Road. That's it highlighted there in yellow. This is just a closer version. You can see how close the barn that we're discussing is located to the road. We've had to extend. We may need a little bit more space than initially proposed. Just we now have an approved septic design, and we wanted to move it a little further back on the property just to keep all the neighbors happy. This is an image of the structure when we bought it. It was on the edge of collapse. The front wall had actually fallen over a foot, and you can see those two doors are sitting on the ground. Since then, we've stabilized it and started doing some of the restoration work. This was the barn back in 2020. You can just see how far up those two front doors now are hanging in the air. So that gives you an idea of how much the structure moved. So everything's back to square inside. And this is sort of our proposed view. So we're very much trying to keep it in line with being a barn. The next couple of slides are just some more views of different elevations. So this is the view facing Rosedale Road. It's just another angle. This is the side, I guess this would be the south end. So this is off the driveway. There'd be a garage into the downstairs. This is the opposite end, facing the north. And this is the back. So this is the area that faces our farm. And it's kind of the most different. We've sort of got a big enclosed porch planned to eat up some of the square footage, because I don't really need a house as big as a barn. This is just a proposed layout for the residential unit upstairs. To give you a bit of an idea of what we're up to. This is downstairs. You can see there's sort of a large garage storage area, some utility space, and the portion that's shaded is the area that we're processing cheese in. And so this consists of sort of a number of small rooms. There's a room to store milk, a room where we actually make the cheese. There's 3 climate-controlled rooms where we store and age the cheese. There's a room where the cheese is packaged for sale, and then there's sort of an antechamber where we get dressed and clean up going in and out of the plant. Yeah. These are a couple of pictures from our current facility. The first room is just our small bulk tanks. It's kind of I always get made fun of by the big cow dairies because these are about the world's smallest bulk tanks, but when you're dealing with sheep milk, they're perfect. The middle picture are some rounds of cheese aging in our current cooler. And that last picture is just our cheese vat where we actually make the cheese. As far as landscaping changes on the site, if we go ahead with the project, there aren't too many. We obviously need to extend the driveway to the barn. We've done a fair bit of tree planting already on the site to try and not hide, but we wanted to sort of shelter the new livestock barn, which you can see in white there from the neighbors. So we've done a fair bit of planting, and we're going to do some more. And that's sort of the project overview. I'll mention a couple of quick things just about how the project could sort of affect the neighborhood. I think it would be fair to say that our current operation is sort of, nobody knows we're here doing what we're doing. It really has very little effect on the neighboring properties. There's a small amount of sound, like there'll be some compressors to keep the entire building cooled and heated, but these aren't more than like a traditional air conditioner on a normal house. We actually should probably see less traffic going forward. Currently, we're commuting to the site. On a good day, we're driving back and forth twice. On a bad day, we're driving back and forth a couple hundred times. We do, as far as smell goes, we do run a fair bit of fresh air into the cheese coolers. So the odd time you can smell cheese if you're standing right up beside the, like one of the vents coming out of the building, but it's certainly not an overpowering smell, or you really do have to be right up beside it. We don't have any plans for different, exterior lighting or signage beyond what you would see on a normal residential property. We produce almost no garbage. We're sort of talking like a waste paper basket a week when we're in full operation. And I'll probably, I guess, leave water usage to Kevin if he wants to speak to that. So I'm happy to answer any questions, or do you want to do questions after?
Sorry, Claus, you're muted.
Haywire. Okay, sorry. Yeah, we'll let Kevin make his comments, Kyle, and then there will be an opportunity for questions from council and from the public. So, Kyle, if you're there, or Kevin.
Kevin, yes. Hello.
Hello.
I'll be fairly brief. I think both Forbes and Kyle have pretty well covered off the land use compatibility issues and the basis of the project. One issue, obviously, that had to be taken into consideration, and Forbes did mention it, was that the property was suitable to provide an adequate water supply and a septic system for not only the dwelling, but the cheese-making facility. And based on numbers through historical use and on Ontario Building Code numbers, surprisingly enough, this cheese-making facility doesn't use a lot of extra water than it would be in consideration of a regular family home, and likewise doesn't produce significant amounts of sewage. So as Kyle mentioned, they have an approved septic system design in place now, I believe filed with the township, and a new well will be installed As part of our investigation, we looked at well water records in the area, sampled 2 wells for water quality or for quality, sorry. I'm sure many people realize in certain parts of the municipality there's hard water, but nothing of any significance. So from a servicing point of view, there is certainly no concerns with the application.
Okay, that's it then, Kevin.
That's
Okay,
it.
thank you
Chair.
both for presenting the project. So thank you. We will now invite any comments or submissions regarding this application from the members of the public. When speaking, please be advised that the comments provided do form part of the public record. And as such, we ask that you please state your name and address. All comments should be addressed through the chair. You also may submit comments in writing prior to council decision on this proposal. Council will first hear from members of the public who wish to speak to this application, and then from applicants for any concluding remarks that they may have. Following that, we will entertain questions from council members. So are there any members of the public who wish to speak to this application? Christy, any?
I had no one request to join the public meeting.
Okay, so we'll continue. Thank you. I will now hear from the applicants for closing remarks they may have. Kyle, I'll let you go first. Any closing remarks? You're muted, Kyle. Oh, sorry.
Yeah, not as such, just I think our project is well suited for the township and fits your long-term goals outlined in your official plan quite well. So I appreciate the consideration.
Okay, thank you, Kyle. Kevin, any closing remarks?
No, none at this point.
Okay, thank you. Thank you. Thank you. I will now ask if there are any questions or discussions from council members. Any council members have any questions or comments? Karen, you're muted.
I just want to put my hand up first, but so all the documents that have been filed with reference to the hydrogeological study and all that stuff, will we be able to receive a full package just so that we have the ability to read it?
You answer that, Kevin?
Yeah, they were all actually filed in September in the fall. If it's a matter of getting electronic copies, we can certainly provide those and for easier circulation.
Okay. Okay, Karen?
Okay.
Okay, thank you. Forbes, you have a comment?
I just wanted to say, Mr. Chair, that all the reports that were filed are a matter of the public record and are publicly accessible. So we'll make efforts to get those to Councillor Jennings. They're certainly available in the office now, Karen. And so you can go in and ask to take a look at them at any point in time, the same as any other member of the public.
Okay, thank you, Forbes. Any other comments from any other councillors? Yes, Councillor Straight.
Yeah, thank you very much, Deputy Reed Van Meer. Mr. White, it sounds like a very interesting project, that's for sure. I have a couple of questions for you, and I'm hoping that either yourself or Kevin or even Forbes can answer them. I guess growth, future growth, you know, where do you see yourself going? What does that look like? You know, obviously that's you know, we have a small business or have a business. Do you want to grow in the future? You know, as you know, once you pull the trigger on the some of the changes, you know, we need to make sure, or I like to ensure that somehow we have some kind of control over what that might be, especially being in a hamlet and having some pretty close neighbors right next door. So would you mind elaborating on that, or?
Yeah, I'm happy to. I guess the first comment, the proposal we've got now, this is the second cheese plant we've built, and I would very much like it to be our last. So we've definitely designed this to a scale that we really can't see ourselves outgrowing, and there's a couple of reasons for that. There's a funny MPAC rule now, actually, that if the plant grows beyond 1,000 square feet, I lose, there's an on-farm processing rebate program that MPAC now offers. And so as soon as I'm over 1,000 square feet, I lose that and start, I believe, paying an industrial rate on the entire property, which has a fairly significant difference from the rural rate with the agricultural rebate that we have right now. Like we're also in a position that the plant that we're building is processing sheep's milk. And because of that, I'm not allowed to process cows or goats' milk, which really stops me from importing much milk because it's nearly impossible to buy sheep's milk. And quite honestly, that isn't our goal at all. We did a fair bit of research when we started the business. And in the sheep milk industry, there's sort of, you either stay at sort of our size, which is, kind of a family farm processing, or you have to get quite big. And anybody who tried to sort of straddle the middle space doesn't survive. You sort of, to get the equipment you need to grow much beyond where we are, you have to get quite a lot bigger, milking into the, so look, we milk 64 ewes through the summer. People have tried milking 300 and 400, and it's this middle ground where you're not making enough product to take like a wholesale cut and sell to Loblaws, but you're making too much product to sell through local, high-end retailers and farmers markets. So you need to get sort of up to the 1,000 ewe milking area that you can now supply Costco and Loblaws. And between not wanting to do that business at all, and also just our farm, our farm can support the number of animals that we currently milk. So there's no way forward really in the current location to grow the business beyond what we're proposing today.
Yes, Councillor Straight, continue.
Thank you, Deputy Reid. But another quick question, I guess, for probably for Mr. White or Mr. Simon. The existing structure that's there that you want to turn into your house, obviously that was originally designed for animals, right? So it doesn't meet today's building code, that's for sure. So is there an engineering report or something like that that says that the changes and design that you have are going to bring it up to code, or it'll be fit for day-to-day habitation, I guess?
Go ahead, Kyle.
So absolutely, and that's been a requirement of your building inspector. So the barn was actually 3D scanned back in November. And so we have an engineering team that's built a complete sort of computer version of the barn, including all of the structural components, including the shape that they're currently in. And they are very close to finishing that full set of designs, which will show how what we want to do to the building interacts with the current building, and how we can go about doing that to meet modern building code.
Okay, another one, Councillor Straight.
Yeah, if you don't mind, thank you very much,
sure,
Deputy Reid. I guess this is probably for Forbes. Forbes, you said you sent this off to all the proper agencies. Is that like a map or land planning use? Everybody's been contacted in regards to this. MOE, Rio Valley, Lanark County, all that kind of stuff.
Yes, it was the standard circulation that we always do, Councillor, and there were no concerns or objections that were received.
All right. Perfect. Thank you very much.
Any other comments? Just want to make a comment to you, Kyle. You indicated that the barn was of historic. Do you know the age of that barn?
I do actually. I think we dated it to being built in 1919.
Okay.
And it's a neat building. It was actually a kit barn. So I've been in about 6 identical barns. They were built by a company in Southern Ontario, and you usually see them in towns that had a railway hub because they shipped all the components by rail. And they sold everything. So like it came with the litter carrier and head gates for cattle and waterers. Like you bought all of the components of the barn out of a catalog. They shipped it all to you on the train and you put it together. And I've even been in one in Perth that was slightly older. Ours has some steel framing inside of it, and the one in Perth is all framed with 2x10 trusses, and they have these wonderful little brass nameplates with the company's name on them. But yeah, so it's yeah.
So was it a milking barn at one time then? Just curious.
Oh yeah. When we were doing we've done some foundation repair under some engineering guidance, and I think we found every inflator that the farm ever used tossed out the back door and buried.
Right.
Actually, we dug the vacuum pump out.
that was very common. When you say it came as a kit, I'm just curious because I've seen other ones of these barns, and the Beatty milking company product that made the milking machines and so forth set a lot of these barns up. And a few of them were done in Montague Township. Okay, any other questions, councillors? Okay, then the closing remarks from myself then. Thank you. This matter will be considered in our next available committee of the whole meeting. Anyone wishing further notice or notices of the decision regarding this proposal is asked to email their respective to administrator at townshipmontagueon.ca within 2 business days following the public meeting. Under the Planning Act, any person or body who is not satisfied with the decision of the council may appeal the council's decision under the Ontario Land Tribunal, OLT. The last day of filing an appeal will be outlined in the notice of decision. Council will consider all information presented before reaching a decision. Chair makes any closing, that's my closing remarks, sorry. So if there's no more remarks or whatever, thank you, gentlemen, for the presentation. And thank you, Kyle, and good luck. And we will now adjourn the public meeting regarding this application. We are now adjourned. Yes, Christy.
I sent you a resolution to read off as well.
Oh, right. That will be page 2. Thank you. Okay, moved by Councillor Carroll, second by Councillor Jennings, that the council receive the following report. Planner Forbes Simon, public meeting for rezoning of 805 Rosedale Road and the following to be approved. The council received the report for information and direct staff to continue to receive public and agency comments with respect to the proposal of 805 Rosedale Road South, rezoning for consideration. All those in favor? That's unanimously carried. Thank you very much. So I'll check that carried and I'll sign that and send it back to you, Christy. Okay, so that's the end of our public meeting. Again, thank you, gentlemen. And Christy, could you call our read back in to continue on the rest of the meeting? Karen, you got your ears on?
Yes, I'm hearing.
Okay, you all right, Karen?
My allergies have kicked in like crazy. I'm dying.
Okay, sorry.
Sorry.
No, that's okay. I just thought maybe you needed to take a moment or
No, it's
dump some stuff in your
I'm
eyes.
just filled right up. Sorry.
Yeah, that's okay. No, if you need to take a moment to go get some eye drops.
I don't have any. I'm going to have to get some. I stopped them after I had the cataract surgery.
Okay, I'm sorry. I just noticed that you were a little irritated there.
Thank you, Christy. Thank you, Christy, and thank you, Claus, for that. We're going to move on to the next part of our meeting, which is 4A. I do have a motion. It was moved by Councillor Jennings and seconded by Councillor Straight that the committee, or that the council approve the minutes of the committee of the whole meeting of March the 15th, 2022, and approve the recommendations contained within. All in favor? And those are carried. Do we have any business arising from those minutes? Seeing none, we're moving on then to 4B, and that's the Montague Recreation and Culture Committee. I do have a motion here. I'll read it first, and then if there's any discussion before we vote, that's fine. Moved by Councillor Straight, and seconded by Deputy Vandermeer, that council approve the minutes of the Montague Recreation and Culture Committee meeting of February the 22nd, 2022, and approve the recommendations contained within. All in favor? Okay, those minutes are carried. Thank you. Do we have any business arising from those minutes? Seeing none, we're moving on. Tonight we have no petitions. We have 3 bylaws. The first one was moved by Deputy Reeve Vandermeer, seconded by Councillor Carroll, that bylaw 3896 2022 being a bylaw to adopt the 2022 municipal operating and capital budget be read it first, second, and third time and passed, signed, and sealed this 5th day of April 2022. All in favor? And that's carried. Thank you. The next bylaw was moved by Councillor Carroll, seconded by Councillor Jennings, the bylaw 3897 2022 being a bylaw to adopt the 2022 municipal water, sewer operating and capital costs be read a first, second, and third time and passed, signed, and sealed this 5th day of April 2022. All in favor? And that one's carried. Thank you. And the last one moved by Councillor Jennings, seconded by Councillor Straight. The bylaw 3898 2022 being a bylaw to establish and regulate the installation, maintenance, and access to water meters and sewer services, and to establish the rates and other service charges for the use of water and sewer services. Be read a first, second, and third time and passed, signed, and sealed this 5th day of April 2022. All in favor? And that one's carried. Thank you. Then next, we have no notices of motion. We'll move on into correspondence, and we do have one action item. That's the annual summary water report. Do we have someone speaking to this, or we just receive this for information?
It's just to be received for information.
Okay, moved by Councillor Straight, seconded by Deputy Reeve Vandermeer, that council receive the annual summary water report for information. All in favor? Carried. Thank you. Now we have no information items to move forward, no unfinished business or other business. Before we adjourn, do you have any questions from the public, Christy?
I'm just checking real quick here. Nothing here. I have no questions from the public.
Okay, thank you. We have a motion moved by Deputy Vandermeer, seconded by Councillor Carroll, that bylaw 3899 2022 being a bylaw to confirm the proceedings of council at its regular meeting held on April the 5th, 2022. Be read a first, second, and third time and passed, signed, and sealed this 5th day of April 2022. All in favor? That's carried. Thank you very much. And last motion moved by Councillor Carroll and seconded by Councillor Jennings that this meeting do adjourn at 7:35 p.m. until April the 19th, 2022 at 6 p.m. or until the call of the Reeve, subject to need. All in favor? And that's carried. So this meeting is now adjourned. And if we can take 2 minutes to change over our paperwork for the committee meeting. Thank you, everyone. I'm
Hi,
now
Bill.
on mute.
Y-
There.
You're
hi,
off mute. There you go.
Christy. Thank you. Are we live yet?
We're still live.
Yeah, we just stay live between the
Yeah.
meetings, right?
Hello.
Hello.
Okay, I think everyone's back. Thanks, everybody.
Oh,
we're
we
going
just
to-
need Andrew.
Oh, I thought he's on the screen.
Yeah, he'll be right back.
Oh, okay. Sorry, I saw his name. I thought he was with us.
Yeah. He's going to his desk.
Okay, Christy. Okay, welcome everyone back to our committee of the whole meeting. It's also being live streamed electronically, April the 5th. This meeting is now open and I do have a motion. It was moved by Councillor Jennings and seconded by Councillor Straight that the committee of the whole agenda dated April the 5th, 2022 be approved. All in favor? That's carried. Thank you. I'll also remind all of council that if you do have any disclosure of interest, you can declare it now or anytime during the meeting. Tonight, we have no delegations. And we have our first report of our municipal officer. And that's going to be yours, Steve, and on the McLaughlin Road Awards. So I'll pass this part of the meeting over to you. Thanks, Steve. Thank you.
Thank you, Reeve. Yes, so this report tonight brought forward is on McLaughlin Road Tender Award. Its low bid was by Arnott Brothers at $391,414.24, including non-recoverable HST. We had 13 companies obtain tender docs, with 4 as indicated in table 1, which submitted pricing. 3 bidders were under $2,000 apart, which is very close for a project of this scale. So I think that indicates kind of, we got our best bang for our buck with this this project. I mean, the prices kind of state how tight everything was, and we got 4 very reputable companies submit on this, and we can't go wrong with any of the 4 submitted. And we're just kind of looking for council direction to award to Arnott Brothers.
Any questions from council? Yes, Karen first.
Steve, this is the shared road with Beckwith, is it not? So is a portion of this being paid by them?
That is correct.
Thank you.
Yes, Klaus?
Yeah, Councillor Jennings asked the first part of my question, so it's shared. Are they satisfied with Arnott Brothers doing the work? Are they comfortable with them?
Beckwith has received all information sent forward by Public Works Manager, and I have not received any comments other than that documents were received. Good,
because this being a shared project, it's good that we're both on the same playing field here. And no, I think it's amazing, Steve, that they come in so close, $1,000 apart, basically. Not too often you see that kind of a close tendering situation. But anyway, so my hat off to you, sir. Excellent job.
Yes, Ian.
Yeah, thank you, Reeve. I guess kind of just following up on Deputy Reeve Vandermeer's comments and Councillor Jennings. I guess the capabilities of Arnott's brother, you're happy with them, Mr. Rothwell, in regards to what they can do as compared to like a Thomas Cavanaugh or something like that. Their ability to perform the job we're not going to have any issues or anything.
Absolutely. This is a very reputable company. They have tons of experience in this scope of construction. And the references they submitted, they have larger scale projects that they've completed with no deficiencies, no problems. They've been a big contract for Lanark County, and as well, they're local to the area, and they're a tight-knit team that is going to be a great fit for this project.
Perfect. Thank you so very much.
Steve, I did see in the report that you're actually doing the legwork for this and overseeing it, and with a couple other responsibilities. Is that extra work and extra responsibility? Is that also being cost shared between the two of us, even though you're doing the work?
Yeah, so all costs associated will be submitted to Beckwith on behalf of this.
Yeah, so that means then half of your work.
It will all be submitted to Beckwith for sure.
Yeah, thank you then. Okay, don't see any further questions. Steve, do you have anything else on this then?
Nothing further, no.
Okay, and thank you for this great work, because as everybody in Montague knows, and everybody in Beckwith and everybody that drives through it, over the years, it's probably been one of the worst roads that we've had to endure, and it's going to be so great to see that done. And I guess, and I'm also hoping, just as a little joke on the side, I hope that we're going to be removing the corduroy road underneath, if there's one there. Yes, Ian.
Yeah, thank you very much, Reed. Just on the Reeves note, I went down the road on the weekend, and it is considerably better right now than it has been in numerous years. So again, hats off, Steve. The work you did last year definitely made a big impact, and it's great to hear that we're getting you for half price for the summer.
Okay, so thanks everybody. This motion was moved by Councillor Straight and seconded by Deputy Reeve Vandermeer, that the committee of the whole receive the following report: the 2022 Public Works -02 McLaughlin Road Award, and that the following be recommended to council: that council enter into a contract with Arnott Brothers Construction Limited for the rehabilitation of McLaughlin Road for a total cost of $391,414.24, including non-recoverable HST, and that the Reeve and clerk, administrator, sign all related contract documentation. Before we vote on this, Christie, just a question. Should we have put in here in this motion, should we have put in there somewhere that this is cost shared with Beckwith?
That is a great question. The recommendation comes directly from the report, so I guess I would pass that to Steve.
Just a question, Steve, because to the public, when they see this, that looks like, it's costing $391,000 plus of Montague's taxes. I'm just wondering if that wouldn't be clear for everybody. That's all.
Yeah, it may not be clear. I mean, the motion could be amended to include rehab of joint road, McLaughlin Road boundary with McLaughlin Road or something along those scale. If Christie can, if she would like to put that in. I mean, it is in the report kind of noted about that, but absolutely, if council wishes, we can amend that.
Yeah, and I did realize that it's in the report, but I just thought might be a good idea to put it here too. So if I don't hear any opposition to this, yes, first I'll go to you, Ian.
Yeah, does that mean that has to come back to committee of the whole, or can that be added
No.
at the next council meeting?
No, I think that's a good question, Ian. And no, I don't think we'd have to. We can pass this here tonight with it being amended.
Yeah, I just want to make sure we're not delaying the process.
No, and as long as is it okay with you, Councillor Straight and Deputy Vandermeer, that we have a friendly amendment here? If it's okay with both of you, then we'll go ahead with it. And Christie, you can wordsmith that and we can sign it.
Yeah, I was just going to say, after it says, for a total cost of the amount, including non-recoverable HST cost shared with Beckwith Township.
That's all we need.
We could just put that in there.
That's all we need. So that's the friendly amendment, and I can sign that one later, Christy. No further questions. All in favor of this then? Okay, that's carried. So I'll sign a new one then. Christy has the amended one. Thanks. So we're going to move on then to yours is the next one, Steve, on the Richardson Road Culvert Award.
Awesome. So this project was published as well with the same date as McLaughlin. We got these out nice and early, and I think the prices do reflect the market that we got into early season. So the Richardson Road Culvert, it was obtained by 22 companies. We had 5 submitted bids on it. Again, they're all reputable companies that submitted. Low bid was Goldie Moore at they came in at $233,030.40, including non-recoverable. This was quite a bit cheaper than the other companies, but they are a very reputable company, and City of Ottawa, they complete a lot of culvert work. They're a smaller company similar to the Arnott Brothers, but this is a job that's right up their alley. Everything was included, and that price that is before you is with the provisional items included for the guide rail. As stated in the report, if council wished to remove this item, it would be a cost savings of $52,000. In the report, it's kind of noted about the lack thereof of safety on our roadways with pertaining to guide rail. So as this project did come in under budget, I think it would be a good start to getting one section completed at this time. And as this is a long-term solution over 100 years, Richardson Road may become a busier roadway than the 80 vehicles that's traveling there now. So I think including it in the project scope would be the recommendation of staff, but definitely if council wishes otherwise, we can move forward for sure.
Thank you, Steve. Any questions for Steve on this? No, I think it's all great. It's such a common sense report and recommendation, I feel, Stephen. And I don't see any questions from council on this. So if there's no further addition that you need, I do have a motion here, which we can move forward then. It was moved by Deputy Reeve Vandermeer and seconded by Councillor Carroll. That the Committee of the Whole received the following report. The 2022 Public Works -01 Richardson Road Culvert, and that the following be recommended to council. That council enter into a contract with Goldie Moore Limited for the replacement of Richardson Road Culvert for the total cost of $233,030.40, including non-recoverable HST, and that the Reeve and the clerk administrator sign all related contract documentation. All in favor? That's carried.
Can I ask a question?
Yes. Yes.
So it says 233,030, but below said 229. Just curious, the difference? A cost of including, so it's because of the difference in the HST stuff? Got it. Thank you.
Yes, and again, Steve, I think it was possibly somebody else mentioned this, or you did, I think, but compliments to you for getting this work done early enough to get these tenders out. And it's rare that we can pass, projects like this and approve projects like this so early in the year. And obviously there was some cost savings there, and I'm sure that's one of the reasons why. And that's because of your great, upfront, proactive work. So thank you for that. Good job.
Thank you.
Okay, then we're going to move on to 3C, and the next one is going to be yours, Andrew, and that's on the interim planning position. So over to you, Andrew. Thanks.
Thank you. Yep, so this report we have brought to council here to the Committee of the Whole to look at for an intern planning position. And recommendation is the council direct staff to offer an intern planning position. Recently, in late 2021 and early 2022, we had advertised looking for a planner. And in those processes, it came to be that we ended up with a consultant planner at this time because of the response to those advertisements. In that process, we have a candidate, an applicant who was we've talked to about this hybrid solution that we could have here at the township. And so we've had previous discussions with the applicant, and I've also discussed this with the consultant planners of the township to get their professional opinion on this opportunity. So based on that, given two options. One is to direct us to offer an intern planning position to the individual that the staff has spoken with at a rate of minimum wage. It would be for 1 day a week and coordinated with the consultant planner and provide some presence in the township office to start to build some momentum there and boots on the ground type of deal for our planning department. And the other option is to not do that at this time and to just continue with the consultant planner that we have in place at the moment until we council decides another direction from there. So, and this would also be covered because of the nature of it with the 2022 budget that we are passing this evening.
Ian, please.
Yeah, thank you very much, Reeve. Mr. Hodge, I guess I have a couple questions, I guess, regarding this. So they were one of the candidates, but they didn't have the credentials, I guess, or the experience or whatever that is to become the planner itself.
It's basically in a nutshell, it's a situation where they have education and are looking to gain municipal experience. And this would be a way to kind of start that on that path. And that would be the opportunity here that we're considering if council was interested in doing that at this time.
So this is Paul, if you don't mind, Reeve.
Mm-hmm.
So right at this present second, we don't have any advertisements out for a planner or junior planner or anything else of that nature.
Right. We had advertised a second time and had no response to that advertisement. So that's why we now have the consultant planner in place through JP2G there.
Yeah, but right now we're not even actively looking. Is that's correct?
Not at the moment, no.
So like the person, I understand what you're trying to do a little bit, but right now our consultant planner, is he at the office every day? Or is he there?
He works remotely. So we have our administrative assistant who's kind of wearing a couple hats, Christy, who she fields planning calls and planning requests, and then she's able to direct them either to our consultant planner or to our building official, depending on the nature of the question and to what forms or things they may need to provide to the township.
So I'm just wondering how they're going to learn. It's going to be extremely hard for this person to learn when there's not a planner on site to, essentially grab this person by the hand and drag, help them along the way, I guess is what would be one of my concerns. Maybe that's.
Yeah, it's definitely a unique opportunity, one that we probably didn't expect to see pop up. And because of that, also that's why I asked the consultant planner about it. It was to see his opinion and see if he thinks that would be functionally advantageous, and they felt that it would be. So that's why I've brought this report.
And this isn't a permanent position. This is a very temporary position. It can be ended at any point in time. If we got another planner, we don't need to continue with this. There's no legal ramifications of letting the person go or anything else like that, like a contract or something like that. It's going to be set up in a way that if we choose to, or we hire a planner, then we don't have to continue down this path, or how what's the thought on that, I guess?
Right, we could write that into an employment offer to structure it if that's the way we wished it to be, for sure.
Yeah, well, personally, I just, I don't think we've really, the budget, I don't know how we manage that with the planner itself right now. And we definitely didn't budget for an extra person. I know it is very minimal at this point in time, but all right. Thank you very much, Mr. Hodge.
So going along with those questions of Councillor Straight, Andrew, would I assume then that we possibly would be putting on a certain probationary period here, or how would we handle that?
Yeah, when we look at the hiring policy, there's typically a probationary period for anyone in a position of staff.
Yeah,
so
thanks.
There would also be one for that.
Yeah, thanks. Claus, please.
Thanks, Reeves. Andrew, I concur with a lot of things that Councillor Straight has said, because I'm reading here to advance their municipal planning experience. So he's going to gain a lot of experience by spending 1 day a week with us. I guess my concern would be is that he gains enough experience and all of a sudden then 6 months, 8 months later, he says, thanks very much, I've learned a lot, goodbye. Where we'd have to put something in the contract. Would our contract planner we have right now, Forbes Simon, would he still be available for this person to consult with?
Yeah, that was the intent for sure. Is that
they
would coordinate together in what they're looking at for plan.
So the consulting fees would still remain there from Forbes Simon, would still stay in place. Correct.
Essentially, yes.
Yeah. 1 day a week. Do you feel that's enough for this person to do the work that's required? I mean, we're getting into a pretty springtime frenzy of building and applications coming on and so forth. So I'm just concerned that whether 1 day a week would be enough for this person to complete the tasks.
Right. It would sort of be like an overlay or a dovetail with our consultant planner. So they would be able to balance that out and
pick up the slack.
Yeah, it's definitely like I would say unique opportunity, one that we're sort of would be kind of pivoting and as we go to make the most of it.
So is it staff's hope that if this person works out good for us or good for him, that they would continue on to stay as a permanent staff planner?
I would say that would be the greatest outcome if that were the case, but we would know as we move forward, I guess.
Yeah. One last question, if I may, Reeve. Is there a cost associated with this 1 day a week with this individual?
What I've reported here is we would present it as starting as a minimum wage amount to.
Oh, right. Sorry, you did say that. Yeah, sorry.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Thank you, Reeve. That's all my questions.
Yeah, thank you. And to kind of go along with that clause, I mean, we often talk about succession planning, and I see this as a way to use your term, Andrew, unique, but I also think it's very creative, and I think it's also addressing in a small way. We're doing something about succession planning here, and we have to remember that I feel that this person is still a junior to the consultant planner we have. And this person would be directed by the consultant planner, not the other way around. So I feel that we would all win from this. Yes, Jeff, please.
Thanks, Reeve. First of all, yeah, I mean, Andrew, I think this is it's a very innovative way to look at this predicament of planning out there, as you've alluded and said that there's the 2 times we put it out there, we haven't been able to find an option. And I think this is an interesting option for sure. And as someone with a planning, like a university degree in planning, it's just more the placement work that you need to get for that. So I mean, someone that has that background has an understanding of a lot of the legwork, but just needs Forbes to help guide in that direction. So there could be a cost savings in that sense too, as well, as that person is able to put together a lot of the packages, put a lot of together that work too as well. I mean, I'll openly admit that it's not the ideal situation. I'd like to have a planner, but that's, you know, but trying to find another option for now, I think this is a great option that we have, that and really the only one we have. But I think to kind of piggyback a little bit onto as well what Councillor Straight said, and I think what Deputy Reed Vandermeer said, is just how we hire the person. And I guess we want to make sure that if we can hire them as either as a contractor, so if there's an easier end date, or if there's a way to close that. Not that, I mean, we want to make sure we grow with that person, but the other thing is we don't want to close ourselves off to another opportunity that might come, or somebody that might be able to really fill a void for us quite well. So I think that would be the only provision that I'd want to make sure that we're cautious of in the hiring process, to make sure that we're open for what's going to be best for planning as we go forward. But I do like the idea, and I think it could work out well for us too, as well, depending on as the person goes. So I think also we have to worry about the minimum wage side. I mean, I think that's hard. I mean, the person does have education, and I know it's hard to scale it right now. But I think it you know, this is not a frontline worker service job. It's something that has an education that is needed in the background. So we may have to look at, I don't think we have to go crazy, but I mean, we may have to look at like a little bit higher than minimum wage. Anyways, that's my 2 cents, but thanks, guys.
I think that probably you will be coming back with another report on this, Andrew, and then maybe that would be further discussed by council.
Yeah, look, it sounds like that would be a good way to proceed, and then we could confirm where we stand and look at putting a timeline to those concerns that council has, so that they're addressed as well.
Yeah, Karen, please.
So in order to know what we're going to pay an individual, you have to have a job description, which has to be scored under the compensation plan that we follow with our other positions. I'm not in favor of going to this intern position without doing an advertisement. If we're going to do that sort of thing, there are people out there, like I know there are several graduates of this year that have applied to positions within Leonard County for the jobs that were posted for starting in May for a few of the neighboring municipalities, and they are looking for work. So this would also be another option. You've got student graduates that are looking for junior entry to get that experience. And in order to, as I say, actually have a true value as to what's required, you need a job description to know exactly what they're going to be doing so that all of that happens. To do a contract with an individual, you do have to have a start and an end, and you have to have it clearly defined so that it doesn't look that it becomes a permanent position, unless that's the route that is down the road. But it should be very clearly defined, the terms of the position, the duties expected of the position, the notice that's going to be given, etc. And I honestly feel that if we are going to be posting for something, that we are going to move forward to something else, we should be putting it out there for, as I said, some of these students that have just graduated that have also then the educational experience that we would need for this type of position.
Thank you, Karen. Ian?
Yeah, I think, from my point of view, I think Councilor Jenny makes a good point. We've never posted for a, what do you call them? What's the right term for, not a planner, but a, undergraduate or intern, not an intern. There is a junior planner. So maybe we could post for a junior planner. This person is obviously more than welcome to apply. And I think that we want to be very careful on how we set up their contract so that we're not, I personally don't want to get stuck into a position where we're having to have, we have to hire another planner at some point in time, and we end up having to have two on the staff. So, yeah, that's my point of view. And as far as some of this other stuff, hats off to Christy for stepping up and helping with some of this stuff. And if we're going to go down this road of this junior planner thing, are there people within our own township that we should be investing in that already work for us? Have we asked those questions? You know, we give these people opportunities to further their own growth within the township. They're already employees. So, you know, I want to make sure we you know, complete that circle and give ourselves the best opportunity to move forward and not hastily jump into something. So, you know, I think that for myself, I'd really like to check those boxes and make sure that we have the best candidate going forward. So, thank you.
Yes, Jeff?
Yeah, I think those are valid points. I think it's probably a good idea to go out there and see what other candidates that might be interested in doing that. It might be tricky internally, just because I mean, you need to have a 4-year planning university degree just to start out with something like this. So I mean, there's probably that's a great suggestion. I think that we should be looking forward with too, as well is trying to find somebody that might be coming out of school. And broaden our window of maybe of applicants that could do that type of job. So maybe start looking at a bit of a job description and looking at a bit of an opportunity and maybe that's what maybe Councillor Jennings was getting at too as well, that we advertise for something like that and we might get a chance, we might get some bites for that. And that could be beneficial too as well.
Thanks, Jeff. To you, Andrew, and then to Karen.
Yeah, I was just to say the great discussion and a lot of good points here. So this evening, you know, that may, you know, be more of the option two that we're looking at, with the thought that staff would then bring back a report that addresses all of the things that have come up in this discussion this evening, with some more detail and more of that position and the scoring and the things that we're considering, and to how we could target that to those graduates and things. So that may be a good direction that comes out of this discussion.
So we do have a motion in front of us that we need to vote on and either defeat and then put maybe. I'd like to see us, if we're allowed to do this tonight, I'd like to see us be able to put together another motion so that we could move forward with the idea of going out to see who else we could find, but I'd rather not have to wait for another 2 weeks. Are we able to move this forward tonight, Andrew and Christy? We have to vote on this motion here first. But if this motion is defeated, then can we put together another motion and vote on it tonight? Yes, Karen.
So I know it says intern planner. Why can't we just extend it from we're going to continue with an intern planner, but we're going to do it through a job posting versus this person for 1 day a week? It's still an intern planner. It's just a different method as to how we're going to post it. But we still need a job description before we can do a posting.
Yes, but then maybe all we have to do is wordsmith this motion here to be able to pass it, or to vote on it at least. Yes, Jeff.
I mean, we give a direction, and it's the committee of the whole. So like, can we not just say, like, you know, do not offer the interim planning position, but for staff to bring back a report from what was discussed? Is that not, because we're just now, right? So I mean, that would be fine.
Well, that would be fine, but then we still wait. We would still be waiting for another 2 weeks anyways, because as you said, this is committee. This still has to go back to council in 2 weeks' time. But it would be nice
because it's just for them to bring back more information.
Pardon me? Okay, for more information. But are we then passing this, that we can go ahead and put this, move this forward by putting it public? Yes, Christy?
I would suggest that you move to amend the motion and just amend that council direct staff to bring back more information to the next committee of the whole meeting.
Yeah.
Right? I-
Okay, I had Claus and then Ian. Claus?
Yes, thank you. And just to continue on Christie's comment, I think we can just give staff direction to move forward to advertise for an interim junior planner and prepare a job description and a contract proposal and so forth. Do all these three things that Karen had mentioned, and then have that ready for the next committee of the whole meeting, so we can move forward on this a little quickly.
Okay, Ian, please.
Yeah, no, I agree with Deputy Reed Vandermeer with regards to that, and Councillor Carroll and everything that everybody else has said. I don't think that we need to. Is this pressing, Andrew, or is this like, do we have to have someone tomorrow to start this position, or if we go 2 more weeks, we'll survive?
I would say it's not pressing. It's just this was kind of, might have been time sensitive in the way that it was presented. But if we're going to proceed the way that the discussion has went, then I would say it's fine to just use option 2 in this from this report, and then staff is directed to bring back the next report, which, as Councillor Jennings mentioned, then council would want to see the job description, see the scoring before we advertise it. So that's the next committee of the whole in 2 weeks.
Yeah, so essentially we defeat this one here, and you know what we're looking for right now. We don't even have to give you direction, really, essentially, at the end of the day. You're going to bring back another report at the next committee as a whole, with what it is we're looking for anyway.
Yes.
All right, thanks.
So the only time sensitivity, I agree with what we're doing, but the only time sensitivity to this is that these people who we would hope to be able to entice to this job, they're looking for a job now.
Yeah.
If it was a month or 2 months from now, most of these people may already have their job. That's the time sensitivity to it. Yes, Karen?
The one good thing about it is the universities do have a career site that even the graduating students go searching for their employment with. So even if it is a month from now, we can still post it on those sites and they will still be able to find it. And hopefully they are still some are still looking.
Yeah, some. The only thing I'm saying is that the earlier we move on this, the better.
Better.
And
Right.
for obvious reasons. We've gone through this before for other positions, and there's no difference right now. So I see it as the sooner we can move this forward, the better. Yes, Karen?
The only other thing we could do is get a student planner out there for the summer and then continue on with this process that could switch it over from a student planner to a junior planner, depending on how they perform.
Well,
That's another option.
it almost sounds like this person was going to be a student planner anyways. If this person is considered an intern planner and working for minimum wage.
Well, it wouldn't be minimum if they do based on the job description, right?
Right. Well, it's up to council which way we want to go here. There's 2 or 3 different directions, but I think what we need to do then is I will read this motion. If this motion is going to be defeated, then Christy, if you can be wording up the other motion to help us, then we can vote on it also. Is that okay with council?
Yep.
All right, this motion was moved by Councillor Carroll and seconded by Councillor Jennings, that the committee of the whole receive the following report. The interim planning position, and that the following be recommended to council, that council direct staff to offer an intern planning position. All in favor? Opposed? That's opposed. So it's defeated. And Christy, if you're still working on this, we'll take a minute here. I don't want to rush you.
I just have, that council direct staff to prepare a job description, pay scale, and ad for a student planner. Is that what we were going for?
Wait.
That's basics.
Can we modify to instead of student, like junior? Let's call them a junior planner.
Junior planner?
Yeah, maybe get someone with a bit more qualification.
So council directs staff to prepare a job description, pay scale, and add for a junior planner and bring back to council, or go ahead. Sorry, I missed that part.
Jeff?
I was gonna say, well, bring back the council, but also because because this is a piggyback off what Councilor Straight's saying, because we want somebody that has finished their 4-year degree planning. That's still in the course. We want someone that's finished their 4-year planning and is now looking for. So I think that's why, yeah, it's got to be like a graduate side of it. So
Bring back information to the next available committee of the whole meeting or council meeting.
Bring it right to council.
Can it go straight to council though? If you're bringing a new job description, because there'll be discussion on it.
Yeah. Have to go to committee because you'd have to discuss.
Well, just remember, council, that if we need to move something forward, we can have a special meeting. If it's important enough to move this thing forward, and rather than waiting 2 weeks and maybe another 4 weeks, we can call a special meeting to deal with this.
I think.
Yes, Jeff.
I was gonna say, I think staff's gonna need a little bit of time to put together stuff, but we may have to have maybe a special meeting after that meeting if we want to approve it. Yeah, I'm assuming staff is gonna need a couple weeks to kind of at least get that part together. Andrew, correct me if I'm wrong, or is that enough time, or?
It's probably good to have that time to not rush that. Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
So then we bring it back to the next committee meeting. And then if we have to move it forward, we will. And if we have to have a special meeting after that to move it forward a little quicker and it saves some time, we can do that also.
Yeah, so I'll leave it at the next available committee of the whole meeting.
That's fine. Yes, Ian?
Yeah, I think that, thinking about it right now, it is probably a little bit time sensitive because, university's going to end here very shortly. We want to get that plug in there while we can and get the graduates that have just finished looking for a job. So,
but we already know that the graduates that have the best results and that look good to the municipalities, they're the ones that are going to get their jobs first. So that's why I feel there is a certain sensitivity here for sure. But we'll leave it at this then, Christy. So finally, do you want to read it one more time so that everybody's very clear on what we're voting on?
Correct. So that council directs staff to prepare a job description, pay scale, and add for a junior planner position and bring back information to the next available committee of the whole meeting.
Okay,
I need a mover and a seconder.
So we had Councillor Jennings and Councillor Straight. Is it okay if you move and second that?
Yeah.
Okay. Don't see anything else then. All in favor of this? Okay, that's good. Thank you. And that's good for that one there. Andrew, thank you for this. And we're going to move forward to the next one, which is also yours, Andrew, and that's on the septic inspections.
Thank you. So yeah, this is something that's just come up recently in regards to all the municipalities that deal with the Leeds, Grenville, Lanark District Health Unit regarding septic inspections and record keeping and permitting and all those things. The recommendation for this report is the council directs staff to send a letter to Lanark County Council requesting that the county provide the sewage system services starting October 1st, 2022, and that this letter be forwarded to the area municipalities for support. You would have seen in this report the attachment from the Leeds, Grenville, and Lanark District Health Unit that they've sent out to everybody that they were doing this service for, that they will plan to be done for October 1st, 2022. They had been doing it for the township for a long time, an agreement attached from 1998. So, and ultimately the township is responsible for this service. It's part 8 of the building code. And in discussion with our CBO and with, hearing their discussions, we realized that there's a few different options there as to how this can be done. And we've been reached out to by the Rideau Valley Conservation Authority and also by Drummond North Elmsley Township. And they are going to be getting involved in this service as well. So as you can see in the options here, I've suggested a few different things. One is that the recommendation that we asked the county planner to consider this so that they could be the central archiving and the central coordinator of this for the county as an option, and provide staffing and a consistent approach that goes all across the different townships, so that different property builders or people replacing their septic system have a consistent experience regardless of which township they're in. The next option would be for the township to hire an additional employee that has a BCIN, or another option would be to share that service with a township such as Drummond North Elmsley, who's hiring someone to do that. It may have excess capacity that we could share, which would leave the record keeping and the archiving residing in their possession. But these are records that are supposed to be kept, forever. So they're very important that they're well cared for. The other option is to look at Rideau Valley Conservation Authority, and they have a infrastructure in place for this, and they already do this service for other areas. So they are another option, and they would be, each of those, Drummond North Elmsley and Rideau Valley Conservation Authority would be interested in coming with a delegation to council. So we could arrange that before any further decisions are made as the option there, so that council has, as much of that information as they can before they make that final decision. But in the meantime, the recommendation is that we reach out to the county to see what their response would be.
So by reaching out to the county to see what the response is, then we're not making anything cut in stone yet then?
No, this is something that we work towards for October. In October, the way I understand it is the health unit's going to, I believe, have some leeway there to sort of transition, but that is when we're shooting for to have this in place.
And I know that the health unit is also going to provide any sort of, I guess I could say, background consultation and be there to help with any consultation in the first few months. I'm pretty sure that that's also going to be available. So Ian, I'll go to you, please.
Yeah, Andrew, I see you come up with some great options here, obviously. Do you have any idea why D&E is venturing out on their own and not wanting to party up with the county, or is there any insight behind that?
I haven't put that question to them yet, but I guess if we were to ask them for a delegation, they would give us the background and their strategy there.
I guess for myself, to keep it really simple, I'd love to hear from D&E. I'd also love to hear from myself from the county what their options are and what that's going to look like, and how hard is it for a member within our own township to do the BCIN? It's an exam, is it not, Andrew? Or
I don't know that that's difficult, but I guess one other piece of input I was given is that other townships who have staff doing the septic program have found that it's become quite busy, and they've given feedback that they're actually busier with septic inspections than they are with building permits. So it could grow maybe at a more exponentially than we anticipate. So then there's concern with the costs there too, right?
Well, that's actually kind of interesting. All right, thank you.
Okay, so I have Karen and then Claus.
So I'm going to take a stab at the dark, and for Ian's question would be that perhaps their building inspector is BCIN qualified in septic, because I do know there are some in the county. The other thing with reference to the permits that have to be kept forever, I think our building permits have to anyway, so septic could just tag along with those if we were to have them. Here's a thought, and I know it's sort of out in left field here, but perhaps it's something we can write into the junior planner as well, that they might be interested in obtaining their BCIN in septic. And then we would have a little bit there, and then who knows down the road where things go. We might have another body that comes in with their BCIN. But it's just, it would maybe be something at the start to get us through, because they're not going to have, most of them wouldn't have it, but it's something we could certainly put in there saying willingness to obtain maybe. But I definitely would like to see what the costings would be from some of these others, because some of our shared agreements are getting quite expensive. So I would definitely like to see what that is. So that's good.
Yeah, Claus?
Thanks, Reeve. I'm too concerned with costing on this too, but the work that they're going to do, it's all going to be the same. Like whether it's Drummond North Elmsley or whether it's the county and so forth, there are certain steps they have to follow, certain inspections they have to do. So the workload is the same. So the costing, can't see it would be an awful lot of difference. I guess it's just a matter of a comfort level for us to have working with the county or working with a neighboring township. I do like Councillor Jennings' idea for our junior planner to eventually work into this position. So we have our own person that does it. We have better control that way. And for future succession planning, as was mentioned before, I think it would be a great idea to look at that for the future. But in the meantime, let's look at see what the proposals are from the county and the townships and see if there's a huge difference in cost. I don't think there should be. Thank you.
So anything else on this? So then just listening to the discussion, I do have a motion here that I don't think is going to go along with what we're talking about. So we may have to come up with another motion. I'll read it just so everybody hears it again. And that is that the Committee of the Whole receive the following report, that the following be recommended to Council. That Council direct staff to send a letter to the Lanark County Council requesting that the county provide the sewage system services starting October the 1st, 2022, and that this letter be forwarded to the area municipalities for support. Are we ready to vote on this one? It was moved by Councillor Jennings and seconded by Councillor Straight. Yes, Ian.
Jeff.
Sorry, Ian. Sorry, Jeff.
Thanks, Reed. Can we combine options? Can we say we want to go to Lanark County? Because I also I'm curious to listen to Drummond to see what they have to say. I think it could be an option. So can we explore? Can we do both?
I think we have enough time on this that we could explore the different options, because it's come up by 2 or 3 people, and I totally agree that we should know what the costing is going to be. We should know what the costing is going to be if the county does it, Drummond North Elmsley does it, or somebody else. So, and we've got lots of time yet. Yes, Ian. Sorry, Jeff. There, I guess it's just on my screen. It's overlapping a little here.
Correct me if I'm wrong, but it's completely cost recovery, is it not? That's the of the inspections, or am I wrong on that? Is it a set charge? It would be strictly cost recovery. So if one place is, I'm just going to make up arbitrary numbers, is $50 and the other place is $60. We want the best price, but it's also a cost recovery side of it too as well, right? So it's if that makes a big difference or not. We don't want it obviously crazy, out in left field pricing, but it is cost recovery. So unless I'm wrong on that, so correct me if I'm wrong, please.
That's right.
Well, it is cost recovery, but we should definitely be getting the costing from anybody that we might say yes to beforehand. So we should be getting it.
Yeah, we just need to be fast and efficient and without delay.
Yes, Andrew.
In just hearing this discussion, I'm just wondering if this evening, starting with option 3 and 4, I could try and have those delegations scheduled for the next council meeting, on April 19th. And then from there, another report could come forward with that extra information to see if you do want to proceed with option one after that or not.
I think that's a very good idea. Yes, Councillor Straight.
I'm more interested in option 1 and 3. I think that we have a better chance of controlling costs to the end user with either option 1 or 3.
I agree.
So I think we would be able to make those decisions more specifically after we hear the delegations anyways.
All right.
I think we may as well get all the facts from everybody first, and then I agree it might be we can make the decision then.
All right, sounds good.
Okay, so then I feel that so I did read this motion, so I'm going to ask to vote on this one, and then we'll put together the other one. So all in favor of this?
Aye.
Opposed? I see you frowning there, Jeff. Are you, I'll just reiterate.
I'm just trying to figure out. Yeah, sorry, go ahead.
No, I'll just reiterate. I just want to make sure everybody's clear on this. I'll just reiterate. This was that council direct staff to send a letter to Lanark County Council requesting that the county provide the sewage system services. That's what this one is. So I did ask, all in favor? Opposed to this? Okay, this is defeated. And Christy, maybe you could read out the next one for us.
So just bear with me. So it says that council direct staff to ask Drummond North Elmsley and the Rideau Valley Conservation Authority to come to the next available council meeting for a delegation on the sewage system services.
I think that's correct.
Sorry.
Yes.
Yeah, shared.
I thought we were asking for the three of them to give us our costing,
Okay.
were we not? Like Lanark County and Drummond North Elmsley and Rideau Valley?
My opinion is that we should ask all three.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. We turned down the county. I think we deserve to ask them.
Yeah.
Well, we
So back to Andrew there for a sec. Andrew.
So the county county hasn't came to us yet. This was the thought that there's an opportunity to go to the county and ask them to take it as like an umbrella for the municipalities in Lanark County, and sort of put that out there first and ask the other townships through a letter to see if they would support that. So right now they have nothing to present or nothing to cost us unless they agree with our request, and then we're to come back with that. So that's why we would start with option 3 and 4. And then depending on what council's perspective is, then they may or may not want to go farther with the county, or they may consider option 3 or 4 as in another future report to move forward.
Jeff.
Sorry, and that's where my confusion was. I thought we were trying to do this concurrently. We will take options 1, 3, and 4, and that's what I was looking to pass, because I thought we were going to send a letter to the county to say, hey, you should be looking at this and see if we get support from the other municipalities. But in the meantime, we're going to have the delegations from Drummond and I guess RVCA so we can get that too as well. So I don't know why we're not I thought we were just going to say, let's do options 1, 3, and 4. And then just pass that and that would be done. That's where I guess my confusion was. So.
Yes, Christy.
I was going to say, I guess that should be clear, because if that was the case, then you should have carried the previous motion and then made a new motion to add on to it. But I can't go back, right? We can't go back because we already defeated it.
Because the motion that we just defeated, it clearly said that we were going to request the county to provide the service.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Sorry.
So we don't want to request the county to provide this service until we get the facts
Mhm.
from the other two, as far as I'm concerned. Yes, Ian?
Yeah, I agree with exactly. I guess my thought was exactly the same lines as what Council Carroll just said. So. Well,
Why are we not requesting at the same time? Sorry,
Yeah.
sorry.
Yeah, no, go ahead. I think we can just go ahead and do the whole thing all at once. Done.
Okay, as long as we're as clear as mud here for Christie, she can come up with the right wording so we can vote on this.
She looks a little scared.
How do we go back from something we defeated? Because that was the.
No, but what we defeated was us clearly was not that. Was not what we're asking them to do right now. It was us saying that we were actually going to go right and work in conjunction with the county.
Yeah, if we would have passed that motion, then we're not going to be talking to Drummond North Elmsley. We wouldn't be talking to Rideau Valley Conservation. We want to find out from them first, so we had to defeat this.
What Councillor Carroll just said about sending the letter to the county to see if they were interested, and setting up the delegations with D&E and Rideau Valley Conservation is, from my opinion, right on the line.
That's what I had said before too.
No, that's perfect.
Yeah.
Now, Christy, continue with that.
Yeah, she's just getting it worded up there. And again, I'll just ask when we get this wording ready, if we'll get the same mover and seconder. The mover was Councillor Jennings and the seconder was Councillor Straight. Is that okay with the both of you?
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay, so can I just confirm? So in the previous motion, we said that you were going to direct staff to send a letter to Lanark County Council requesting that the county provide sewage system services starting on a certain date. So what you're wanting to do, though, is say that the council directs staff to forward a letter to Lanark County Council to
provide.
Could it be just to provide us with information regarding the possibility of the sewage system service?
That's just what I was wanting more clarification on. Okay, so then the total resolution would be that council directs staff to ask Drummond North Elmsley and Rideau Valley Conservation Authority to come to the next available council meeting for a delegation on the sewage system services, and that council directs staff to forward a letter to Lanark County Council to provide us with information for the sewage system services.
Correct.
But I feel like there's a couple words missing here that we're not hitting. That's not clearing it.
You could just finish it off by saying that could be provided. Services that could be provided.
Sorry.
Jeff?
I was going to say, like, I like the beginning part of the original recommendation, because it's saying, like, it's more saying that the county directs staff to send a letter requesting that county provide. So we want the county to see if they will provide it. And I think sending letters to the other municipalities saying, hey, do you think that maybe the county should be doing that, and see if the other municipalities are interested? Because if we're the only one, the county's not going to do it. But if all the other municipalities think that maybe the county should be looking after it, then so I mean, sending a letter just to the county without looking for support from the other municipalities, I don't think is going to have any traction or any thought.
Yes, Christy?
So then would it be easier then to just keep the same, like, direct staff to ask Drummond North Elmsley about all that, and then just include the previous resolution in?
I think
and
so.
make it kind of one? Because you're still wanting to do that.
I think so. Rest of the council.
I think it's pretty clear. We want to ask the county, are they willing? is the county willing to provide this service for Montague Township? Right? So we can send a letter,
That's basically,
send a letter to the county asking them if they are willing to provide sewage and system services for the township of Montague.
Okay, so the council directs staff to send a letter to Lanark County Council requesting that the county be willing to provide the sewage system services. Are you willing?
Yeah, just to see if the county is willing to provide.
and I think in the letter, we could also ask what that costing would be, because if we do hear the other two delegations, then we'll have all three quotes.
So, and add into that and the costing, be willing to provide the sewage system services starting October 1st, 2022, and provide the costing.
Yes.
I believe so.
Want me to read it one more time?
Yes, that'd be good.
That council directs staff to ask Drummond North Elmsley and the Rideau Valley Conservation Authority to come to the next available council meeting for a delegation on the sewage system services. And that council directs staff to send a letter to Lanark County Council requesting that the county be willing to provide the sewage system services starting October 1st, 2022, and provide the costing. And that this letter be forwarded to the area municipalities for support.
Yep. I think that covers everything. Okay, that was moved by Councillor Jennings, seconded by Councillor Straight. All in favor? That's carried. And so that will be another one that I will have to sign, Christie.
Perfect.
Okay, and okay, so we're moving on to the next is our reports of committees. We have none. No petitions, motions, notice of motions, no unfinished business and other business. And so before we adjourn, Christie, do you want to check and please and see if we have any questions?
Yes, just give me. None here. We have no questions.
Okay, so before we do adjourn, and I know it's not on the, we didn't put it on the agenda, but just want to make sure because we're all here together under other business. Is there anything before we adjourn that we need to say to each other regarding the event at Rosedale Hall on Saturday? Everybody's ready to go there?
I hope so.
I'm gonna need a big truck to bring all the food there.
I'm a bit afraid though of one thing because I did hear the other day, I wasn't at home. But I'm afraid that something may have happened to the Easter Bunny and maybe the Easter Bunny is lost or something. I'm not sure because I think there was a real problem because I wasn't at home, but I did hear from someone who was in the distance, saw that there was an Easter Bunny all dressed up in her or his best clothing, knocking on my front door, and I wasn't at home. So I'm really worried about that. I was going to actually put out some sort of a letter on Facebook or something, even though I'm not on Facebook, to see if they could track down, because I want to make sure that this bunny is still on the right path and that he or she is even actually in Montague. So you know, and if she or he is lost, then I want to make sure that they find their way back to Montague for Saturday. Maybe Karen has something she can help us with here.
I see pictures that the Easter Bunny was in Nolan's Corners 12 hours ago and had also been at Montague School, so is definitely still in the township.
Okay, that's good. Well, it makes me feel really good because I've been worried for about 4 days about this.
Yeah.
Because
Yeah.
This was all happening on my front doorstep.
Well, Karen, if you can message him and tell him to bring 4 flippers.
4 flippers.
Okay, well, thanks for the meeting, everybody, and Andrew and Christy, thanks for your help here. And I do have a last motion, which was moved by Councillor Straight and seconded by Deputy Reeve Vandermeer, that the committee of the whole meeting do now adjourn at 8:49 p.m. All in favor? That's fine. Thank you. That's carried. And good night, everybody.
Night.